because he don't want to say you put a bait pile and you get up here over it. But so many people are doing that today. And they're on the internet all the time with big bucks, so people want to hear what they got to say. So before you know it, they're on the internet, they're on podcast or whatever, talking about their ways of doing it. And then people will, well, that sounds good. I'm going to do whatever he said there. Boy, you do that, and you can chase rabbits down empty holes for years.
What do you think people get wrong when setting expectations when it comes to bow hunting?
Well, they set unrealistic expectations for the area they're hunting. If you want to kill a 180-inch deer in public ground in Tennessee or in some big woods where there's no farmland, you've got to realize it may take you a lifetime, whether you want to accept that. If you set your goal for a 180-inch deer, but you'll shoot any 140-inch deer in the woods, your expectations are out of line with reality of what you're doing, because there's probably 20 or 30 more 140s than there are 160s. And there's probably 20 or 30 more 160s than there are 180s. So if you will settle for a 140, then you've got 20 140s to kill and 20 150s to kill and 20 160s to kill, and your life is over because your expectations are out of line with what you're doing. You cannot settle for anything less. People say, I'd like to shoot a giant, then they'll shoot, 140 coming. I just can't pass that deer up. You'll never shoot anything bigger because there's a lot more of them in the woods. Very odd would be the situation where the first buck by you was a giant that you had your goal set on. So not only expectations ties in with discipline there, a whole lot. So people just don't understand. They don't understand how expectations tie in and how discipline. But if your goal is to shoot a 180, like I said, anywhere, a 180 is huge anywhere. You can't have high expectations. Your expectations has to be, it may take me 3 years. And if they're not, you may start questioning your technique. You might start questioning yourself as a hunter. Well, myself as a hunter has nothing to do with anything but my ability to stick with it, to put the time in, and my ability to learn certain techniques like I teach or certain people teach. A lot of people connect failure with self-worth. And they get down on themselves, they get depressed. They may keep that depression for years. They may overeat. They may do stuff detrimental without even knowing it to themselves because they did not live up to their expectations when in reality it was their expectations that was out of line with reality. So if your expectations is to kill a 180-inch deer on public land in Tennessee, don't get discouraged because you've hunted for 3 years and ain't killed it. You have to understand that that's what my expectations must be. That will let you stick with it longer, and that won't let you go chasing rabbits down empty holes. That won't let you go try a technique that really, there's so much garbage out there on the internet. Most of these big deer that people kill, young people, they jump to different states and kill them right over bait. You can tell with the pictures they're over bait. Some of them don't try to hide it. And even in Tennessee, we got a bunch of yahoos around here that bait up big bucks and kill them. And people see that, and they get down on themselves, not realizing that guy ain't got a clue. And that's fine for people to do that. A lot of people fake it until they make it. Then they'll sit down like this and give a lot of techniques and give a lot of theories and a lot of ways to hunt, when really they hadn't learned to hunt themselves. And what they're saying is an empty hole as far as chasing rabbits down. So people will sit a while. They'll use a good practical theory. Okay, I see how hunting a place where four trails come together would increase my mathematical odds. And they'll try that a year or two. And they'll see all this John Blow over here is killing these big deer. Well, he's killing it over bait, and he may or may not say that. And they think, well, he's doing it, you know. I'm going to listen to him and see what he's doing. And he's sitting there telling stuff that ain't really beneficial because he don't want to say, you put a bait pile and you get up here over it. But so many people are doing that today. And they're on the internet all the time with big bucks, so people want to hear what they got to say. So before you know it, they're on the internet, they're on podcast or whatever, talking about their ways of doing it. And then people will, well, that sounds good. I'm going to do whatever he said there. Boy, you do that, and you can chase rabbits down empty holes for years. And I think it's bad. I think it's bad that people's putting out information out there that's just not practical. Old woodsman like me can see through that. And I'm happy for that person killing big deer. Ever how he kills them over bait, if he enjoys that and that's his way of hunting, I'm happy for him. I mean, they're good guys. I've met a lot of good guys. There's nothing wrong with that. What I'm saying is be careful when you follow certain people. Just make sure that their techniques are valid. Or understand, question them more. Well, how are you? Are you killing all of them over bait, or try to find out more? There's a couple of poachers in the county. When I was pretty young, I still had things figured out pretty good, but they had a wall full of trophies. They don't compare to mine. Legal hunting, the way I hunt, is the most successful way. But they shoot them at 9, whatever, over bait. I can talk to a man for 1 minute and know whether he is the real deal or not. And if he's not, I don't care how many deer he's got on his walls. My eyes don't see them, because I can talk to a man for 5 minutes and know if he's a real hunter or a real woodsman, or if he's cheating, you know. And I'm not saying hunting over bait is cheating if it's legal. I'm just saying that don't let that guy tell you to go out in the big woods and do this and this when he's doing it another way that he don't want to admit, and then you're chasing that technique. You may have a good technique to begin with, a good solid technique. You may have studied the woods and understand, well, I've got big sign here and I think I can set up on this sign. And then after a year or two, maybe it not work. Maybe you had a hot November, and then next year maybe you didn't get to hunt as much. Those two things are paramount. You got to be able to spend a lot of time in the woods when it's cold, when they're moving all day, and you wasn't successful. And then you get on the internet and start listening to everything in the world. Before you know it, you're really confused. I like to strip it of its modifiers and get rid of the confusion. And look at 2 or 3 basic points. You know, I stress 3 basic points. So